Hello, this is Sean Winters, digital coach for Union County. I want to take this time to show you something that's pretty cool that I've come across. First off, let me give a shout out to Eric Curts from Control Alt Archive, because this is where this idea kind of stemmed from. Um, Eric posted a thing about having students be able to create apps within slides, and so what I wanted to do is actually take this a step farther and have this be a resource for teachers, to where you can actually create a app within slides for your subs when they come into the building that gives them all the information you need, and then all you would have to do is update your slide each time. And so I'll show you what this really entails. First off, you'll want to create a new slide and then go to File, Page Setup, and go to Custom and do 8 by 11.5, and then hit OK. And what this is actually going to do for you, when a person loads this up on their phone, this is going to make the slide a longer portrait style instead of landscaped or something like that. And it just causes it to fit better. Now, the whole time you're building your slides, keep in mind this bottom little bit. Anytime you do present, and this will be the same when you're presenting on your phone, this bar is going to pop up. And so if you have anything down here, it's going to kind of interfere with this. But this is actually going to look, when you load it up, very similar to a little web-based app, and it actually works really well. So what I've done is created just a little intro tab. I threw in a little graphic, and then I wanted to thank my sub when I came into the building. But then I created a button, and you can create buttons several different ways. So I'll actually get rid of this one. Yeah, having trouble clicking it. Move this down so I can click that a little better. Alright, so I'm going to insert a shape, and I'm just going to pick this one and drag it to whatever size I want, and then we're just going to play with its color a little bit. And then if I double click, it'll actually let me start typing on this. And so let's just say click here to get started. That might be what I said the first time. I center it, center onto the page, I increase the size. I might even change its font around, whatever. Try that again. Let's do this one. Go bigger, go home. Alright, so there's that, but now this is just a shape. It's not doing anything. So if I right click and say insert link, or I like using the Control K, that's that shortcut to link. Now, normally when people do links, they think of an outside source, but you can actually go within this slide. And so I want to go to My School Apps. So that's where I want everything to come back to. You'll notice I have home buttons. That's what every one of these are doing too. It's going back to My School Apps. So when I have a sub and they're looking at this, they're going to click here and it's going to take them here. So what I want them to be able to do is click and go to my schedule, my contacts, my classroom routine, my lesson, and you can keep adding more and more and more in these. But each of these is actually a hyperlink to, just like I did before, a slide page. So my class schedule is just this next little slide. I just put in my schedule for the day and then the overall schedule for everybody else. But then I also wanted to make sure I had a home button that'll take me right back to here. So I have a link that's taking me to there and there. And you can do all the things. And this is just an image dropped in. And then my next one I did was class routine. And I said, I'm going to take attendance. And here is a link that'll actually take you to my roster. But it's just a fake roster. But you could do my first period roster, second period roster, and have that available to them. Direction for bell ringer, my lesson plan, which I actually kind of have that double dipped because I have my lesson here. But then on my routine, I said, teach the lesson. And so it's actually taking you to there too. So I have it where you can get to there 2 different places. Or you could actually have this a link to a paper copy of your lesson if you wanted it done that way. I wanted to try my best to keep them in this one little app location, because I kind of figured the hard thing about one of the hard things with being a sub is trying to keep everything organized on the desk when you have like a bunch of different printouts, or looking back at an email. I figure this might be a nice little tool for that. Set a class routine. I did my lessons, and then I did contacts to, if you're having issues with certain people, get a hold of these people. But you could add that in the contacts to your routine and do something else that would be like behavior directions or reward directions. Or I even thought about having a Google form on here to where if you needed to leave a student's name or a comment about a class, have a Google form where they could be filling that out on their phone, and that way there's not a piece of paper left on your desk saying, this kid's name did this for everybody to see or stumble across or misplace. Or I've even had students in the past steal a note that was left from a sub off the desk before the class was over, so they couldn't get a bad report. So just having that visualized gets that second backup. But all these are really easy to set up. There is a little trick that I have in place right now. So normally when you're presenting and you click off to the side, it automatically takes you to the next slide. Well, I didn't want that to be taking place, and this is a very easy trick to do, to where you put a shape in place. And so there's actually a shape in the background of all this. So I'll just delete and show you what I've done. So now when I'm on this and I'm at this app, if I click here, it's just going to go to the next slide. Well, I don't want that to take place. So I do insert shape, and I'm just going to fill this with a big white rectangle. I can make that transparent, I can make it any color, but actually now I'm going to put in a link on this. So I right click and just said insert link, or Control K. And I actually want it to stay where it's at. And so I want it to take me to slide my school app. So now anytime you click there, it's just going to leave you where you're at. And then I'm going to change the order of this, and I'm going to send this to the back. So all my other links are on top of this. So now when I am on this, when I'm on my app and I click somewhere else, it's technically taking me right back to slide 2. But now it's not interfering with any of these. So a person won't accidentally click and it just move on to the next slide. And I've done that for each one of these. There's actually a hidden shape on every one of these pages that's doing the exact same thing. That's keeping me on that current slide. So now that I've done this and my app's all built and I've got it set up the way I want, and I'm including everything I'm wanting to have, I'll go to File and Publish. And I went ahead and I made my settings, my share settings. I said anyone with a link can view. I don't know if that will ever really affect it when we publish, but I always just do that anyways. So publish to the web, and then I don't want it to transition frequently on the person, so I'll jump that up to a minute. And what you can actually do is now say, publish, copy, and now when I paste this, these 0, that's the amount of time that's taking place, so I can actually up that a couple of times, and then it's going to wait a really long time. So then when I load it up on my phone, it's going to fit really well. And now if I click, that first slide didn't have it, if I off click anywhere else, it's not taking me anywhere. But then I say, okay, I want to know the teacher's lessons. Here's the lesson for that day. I want to know who to contact. I want the class routine. I need the roster for this period. I've misplaced it or whatever. So this is a really simple idea, and what I've actually done is I took this link and I ended up going to a bit.ly and making it even shorter. But you could even do a QR code, and so when you have a sub in the building, you leave the bit.ly and the QR code for them, and you have that link. Now this is something I would do paper copies as well, just in case you have a sub who doesn't want to use their phone, doesn't want to be that type of thing, and kind of get their input on this of how convenient this is. If you have a regular sub that you use frequently and they want to use this as an option, then you can kind of get away from the paper. But like I said, this is just a means of kind of getting away from that and leaving the QR code, leaving that link to where they can get to this really easily. But just thought this was really neat, cool, and once again, shout out to Eric Curts for giving me the idea of the Google Slides as an app builder for kind of getting me started on this. But let me know if there's anything I can do for you guys, and thank you for your time.
Hey, thanks for watching our video. If you would, please click the like button and the subscribe so you can be up to date with any of our new videos. And thank you for watching.